Can you please confirm the spelling of your last name for me, Jonathan?
Sure, it's spelled Mallick.
Great.
Welcome to AI Talks. On today's 20-minute talk, I'll explore on generative AI and explore its impact on the future of conversational experiences. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We have some people that are watching by streaming, some people that are watching live. PSA, you'll see some poll questions and your ability to submit some questions for Q&A at the end. Again, thanks for joining. I am your host, Tam Danier. I've worked in product and tech for over a decade. I'm considered a generalist. I've touched nearly every part of the customer journey, from in the hands of the customer in the early days of Apple Business to enterprise tech sales, project management at a startup. I've run my own digital strategy boutique. I was a digital performance analyst running numbers and strategy at enterprise, then turned product manager, running number strategy and delivery at that enterprise. Went to D-School Stanford for design thinking and studied artificial intelligence, machine learning at MIT. I am a nice combination of design, lean, and agile, but I'm not a developer. I sit in between the business and engineers. I say all of that to say that I am a product strategist, venture designer, and founder. And today we are talking about one of my favorite topics du jour, generative AI, a compelling new capability in the field of artificial intelligence that is set to revolutionize the way we interact with the world, or so they say. Some describe AI to be like the invention of electricity, and I'd like to say that it is the new internet. Just as we have seen the Internet of Things, we are now in the age of the AI of things. Expect to see AI embedded in everything. And as new as this seems, AI has been around for the last 75 years. The term was coined by the father of AI, John McCarthy, in 1955. He once described AI as how we make machines do things that are really on the surface of our minds. And this is another way of saying intuitive. Think about this as we continue over the next 20 minutes. 75 years we've been around AI, and only in the last 6 months has it appeared on the tip of everybody's tongue. We've always had a relationship with AI, even if we didn't know it. We use it to describe things. We've always said, I feel like my phone is listening to me. Really, this is AI predicting our behavior based on the behavior that it has already observed. Location, search history. We live our lives on the internet, so it knows a lot about us. We've seen AI make predictions with autocorrect. Is this what you mean to say? We use AI to automate things, choose our news article, turn our lights on when we come home. We use it to make recommendations. Netflix, YouTube, and every social media app uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to personalize our experience. Now, AI has developed the ability to interpret data enough that it could make it generate new data. How did we get here? It seems so sudden, but really it was the last 25 years where we see the majority of the AI transformation. And so now a brief history. 1997, IBM's computer DeepMind learns to play chess and beats the world chess champion. And this demonstrated artificial intelligence's ability to remember and evaluate the strength of millions of possible chess positions per second. It was a very speedy calculator. Come 2009, and Waymo launches the self-driving car. This is using machine learning, computer vision, and sensor tech like radar and LiDAR, allowing it to perceive its surroundings and make decisions about navigating. This is an early demonstration of multimodal processing, the ability to receive and process information from a variety of sources. 2011, Watson defeats the best ever candidate on Jeopardy! Major milestone in the development of artificial intelligence, because now computers were competing with humans at a very high level in a complex task that was previously thought to be exclusive to humans. It was understanding human speak. This was remarkable because Jeopardy questions can be hard to understand. 2017, in a paper called All You Need Is Attention, Google introduces the transformer, and there are a couple of significant advances, but the most important one for this context is it has a longer-term memory over previous models. So think of it like a super autocorrect. You probably heard this term referring to ChatGPT. It's a super autocorrect, traditional autocorrect, a little bit before and a little bit after, versus the transformer. You can input a lot of more text and it can output a lot more text. 2022, GPT. This is where the T in GPT comes from, General Pre-trained Transformer, which is what everyone here is familiar with. GPT models are pre-trained on a massive data set of text and code and come out of the box with features such as natural language generation, text summarization, question and answering, code generation, and translations. And these new features open up a world of possibilities that can impact a number of industries. 3 important advances: NLP, natural language processing, the ability to convert text from one format to another, one language to another. This is translations. Natural language understanding, NLU, the ability to answer questions, perform sentiment analysis. Is this negative or positive? And understand intent. This is what we saw demonstrated in the Watson Jeopardy example. Combine that with transformers, this addition of this longer term memory, and now we have large language models, transformers. What to look out for? Triple M's, multimodal models, the ability to interpret and process multiple inputs like text, image, and audio simultaneously. What can you do with Triple M's? You can answer questions about video or images. You can describe an image or a video. You can, with speech recognition, you can essentially read lips. Gesture recognition, you can interpret hand gestures like sign language or cultural gestures. Emotion recognition, you can understand emotions in images, videos, or text. How would we use it? Watch this video and describe it. Where's Waldo? Find this subject in this video. Categorize these videos of clips. Watch this video and create the sound that goes with it. This is a process in Foley in Hollywood movie making. Sound is usually added after the fact. And so this would be able to generate that kind of content. Create an image based on this sound. Sounds like a jet engine. Create an image of a jet engine or a video of a jet engine. Create a video based on this image. Text to video or image or sound, and vice versa. So we've come a long way from talking speakers in the house in a relatively short amount of time. The most obvious future for the case of large language models is the ability to create intuitive interactions featuring seamless user experiences that improve accessibility, create personalized interactions, and streamlines tasks. Let's take a look at the traditional way of programming. To program conversational experiences, you had to account for every single permutation or scenario that could occur. This meant entering in all of the possible questions and responses that an engineer could think of. So you can see how limited this could be to the experience. It's much more like a decision tree, if this, then that. This is a conversation between a customer and a traditional chatbot regarding booking a flight to New York City. The customer wants to travel next Friday at 9 a.m., but no tickets are available. The customer wants to know if other times are available that day, but become increasingly frustrated by the interaction. It's not intuitive. It lacks common sense, which feels impersonal. We see the limitations in singular processing. It's not dynamic. In this hypothetical case of a generative conversational AI, a language model ticket agent uses generative AI to assist a customer in purchasing tickets to a Taylor Swift concert in Chicago. The agent checks availability, reserves tickets and processes payment information, providing excellent customer service throughout the interaction. With features such as NLU and NLP, and because transformers have longer memories, the history of the conversation is the context for sentiment analysis. So now we see the emergence of empathy. Let's compare traditional chatbot programming to generative AI programming. In traditional chatbot programming, it uses a static rule-based approach that limits conversations to predetermined scripts and specific keywords or phrases. It's a tedious experience. The limited responses lead to mechanical and robotic interactions that frustrate customers, whereas generative AI chatbots can create new original responses to user input. They can better understand the context of a user's request, so it can provide more relevant responses and improve the quality of the interaction. They can learn from existing data, so interactions are personalized and engaging. They can help to reduce the workload of human customer service representatives by automating routine tasks and providing more efficient responses to common queries. So I want to highlight some of the out-of-the-box functionality of transformer large language models. If the way to think about generative AI is as a super advanced autocomplete, then a super advanced autocomplete hooked into a variety of data sources can do many things. LLMs have developed the ability of natural human speak. With zero-shot prompting, it can write a poem about sunrise and new beginnings. No additional programming. It has already been pre-trained on what a poem is. It has real-world knowledge right out of the box. You can answer questions like, how long is the flight from San Francisco to Rome, and what should I see when I get there? And the model will tell you San Francisco to Rome is 12 and a half hours away and give you suggestions on what to see, the Colosseum, the Vatican, etc. It is capable of reasoning. Ask her to solve a riddle. Little Timmy, followed by his cat, tried to pick up a rock from the yard, but it was too big. What was too big? And it will answer, the rock was too big. And that's ChatGPT today. It can demonstrate empathy. For example, hey, I'm really excited to see my girlfriend tomorrow. Haven't seen her in a month. ChatGPT can respond, that's great to hear. I hope you two have a wonderful time together. On the other hand, if someone says, my dog just died and I'm super bummed, it will respond, I'm so sorry to hear that. Losing a pet can be incredibly difficult and painful. If you need someone to talk, or if there's anything I can do to help, please don't hesitate to reach out of the box. So large language models will change how we help each other, how we learn, how we engage, how we transact. Next, what industries will be impacted the most from generative AI? Customer service will change in the following ways. You can provide relevant information, answer questions, provide updates, route appropriately, demonstrate empathy, intent clusterings, guiding customers through multiple related tasks, help customers self-serve better. You could solve many frontline issues with this. Be My Eyes is an app for the blind, uses computer vision and generative AI to answer questions that the user who has trouble seeing, any questions they may have about what they are looking at. This app previously relied on human volunteers and they struggled with availability. In education, pretty cool stuff can happen. Generative AI can transform education by personalized learning, providing students with content and activities tailored to their needs and interests. I think this is a really cool use case. Generative assessments, no cheating here. These questions can be created on the fly, tailored to the individual student's learning needs, so we can scale up in difficulty based on where they are, but still get along or straight through to the context that they are trying to learn. Virtual tutors, of course, is very obvious. This can be especially helpful for students who need extra help or need to learn at their own pace or have alternative learning styles. Take a look at apps like Khan Academy and Duolingo, who are incorporating GPT capabilities to assist in learning that is personalized to the learning abilities of its students. I expect to see the most significant impact of generative AI in entertainment and media, especially gaming, role-playing based games. Media companies will use generative AI to create engaging experiences. Think of your favorite cartoon characters or movie franchise character that can have completely unique conversations with fans. Generative storytelling, engage users by creating new stories tailored to the user's interests. Generative characters and experiences, creating new characters tailored to the user's preferences, create their own stories and worlds. Digital clones, not just for cartoon characters, celebrities and artists will create digital clones of themselves as well. You will subscribe to them as you follow them on social media. Maybe you'll pay a monthly fee to talk to Taylor Swift's digital clone. AI celebrities, don't be surprised if your next pop star group is completely artificial intelligence. Shopping, what I am most excited about is there's a lot of potential to transform shopping with generative AI. We already have personalized recommendations for products and services based on the user's past purchases, interest, and browsing history. Virtual try-on AI allows users to see how clothes and accessories would look on them before they buy them. The future of shopping, both retail and e-commerce, is in personalized shopping assistance. For instance, you would log on to Nordstrom's, you'd give it a prompt. I have a wedding to attend in September in Martha's Vineyard. The theme is sage and lilac. I wear a size 8. I'm looking for a dress, accessories, shoes, and a bag. And generative AI will curate an entire lookbook for you, considering the season and your requests. It can engage with you questions to drill down your desire further and then complete the sale. This is the future of personalized shopping. The same will be true for accommodations, ticket, travel, and other transactions that will receive a concierge upgrade thanks to generative AI. While large language models come out of the box with a lot of core functionality, one of the most critical factors in training generative AI models for conversational experiences is selecting the correct training data. Essentially, where is it getting its information from? The quality and the quantity of the data should be used for training can significantly impact the model's performance. You should use diverse training data that reflects the range of scenarios that will occur. This can include customer service transcripts, social media conversations, and other relevant data sources. Give it a personality, a tone, a vernacular, and even a vocabulary, things it can and cannot say. More importantly, the data should be clean and free from biases or inaccuracies. Machine learning models have been known to behave unexpectedly due to the data not being clean, meaning the model was accidentally trained on incorrect data. Episodes like this will have a negative impact on performance and lead to escalations. So some additional things to keep in mind: provide context. Generative AI models perform best when they clearly understand the context in which the conversation is taking place. So prompt designing is getting the model to generate more accurate and relevant responses. Use clear and concise language. Avoid using complex sentence structures or jargon. LLMs perform best when they're given clear prompts and questions that reduce wild variety or produce unrelated or irrelevant responses. Regularly evaluate and refine the model. Of course, regularly monitor user feedback and adjust the model as needed. These are par for the course with anything you integrate. But I want to talk about the caveats about using LLMs. This is a double-edged sword. I consider it a lot like fire. You can cook with fire. Fire would keep you warm. Fire was a remarkable invention. It is also a very dangerous thing. And LLMs are tote that line as well. Identity theft. LLMs can gather and manipulate personal information to create convincing impersonations or profiles that can lead to identity theft. Fraud detection. Bad actors can use large language models to mimic legitimate behavior that can evade the detection systems that exist today. The ease of tricking AI, these large language models can be manipulated by bad actors to produce misleading and harmful outputs, spreading misinformation, manipulating users. Bias, of course. This is nothing new, but it can be exacerbated with the proliferation of this kind of generative AI. They can perpetuate and amplify societal biases, leading to discrimination and hate speech. It's as good as the information that you give it. Always keep that in mind with any model that you're training. And that is it. We are up on 20 minutes. And now some questions that I will answer. See them coming in. Can you provide insight into the training process of generative conversational AI models? How much data is typically required? What challenges are encountered in training large language models? Good question. The training process of generative conversational AIs is exposing them to a large data set of conversations. It's probably the best thing to do. While these models come out of the box with a lot of core functionality, they need to be trained on your specific use cases. So don't expect them to know how you would handle things. It's also just good practice to give it that kind of customer voice that you want. So exposing them to a large data set of conversations. I would not start with less than 100 examples and go up from there as you identify the additional use cases that need training, test, and reiterate. These models learn from pattern, and they will learn to generate relevant responses. It's also this process of reinforcement learning with human feedback that you can give it to train it and tell it what's good and what's bad. The limitation of training these models is that to generate consistent and accurate outputs, it can be cost prohibitive, right? It can be computationally expensive. And so again, it's about identifying the use cases and training it on those specific use cases as well. Regarding deployment, what are the considerations for integrating generative conversational AI systems into existing platforms or applications? Are there any specific prerequisites or technical requirements? The great thing about this is that these are APIs, and this is making it very easy to develop products that incorporate generative AI functionality, which is probably why you see the proliferation of it. These are APIs. Previously, you would have to hire AI experts and build your own internal models. This is very expensive, prohibitively expensive to do this internally. And now companies are allowing you to develop on the cloud with APIs. And so it's much easier to do integration with this. One last question. Let's see here. When it comes to handling sensitive or personal information, how can generative conversational AI ensure privacy and data security for users? It can't. I think, this is the risk of all systems, the privacy and data. And I suspect and I hope that the industries that take a precaution to incorporating AI include healthcare, police, and banking. These institutions, the government in general, should probably take a slower pace to incorporating this, just because there are going to be so many ways to game the system. We haven't figured this out. I do believe that this kind of AI has the ability to combat fraud. As much as it is going to be used to commit fraud, it probably has the ability to combat and detect fraud in new innovative ways that we haven't seen yet. So I'm really excited about that. But I think that there are some use cases of incorporating generative AI that are inbound and probably a good test case to get creative with a lot of the use cases I mentioned before. And I think that it'll be slower to adopt in areas where it's just the risk is too great to personal information like healthcare. And financial data as well. All right, that's all the time we have for questions. This has been AI Talks, a lightning 20-minute round of a topic on AI. Hope to see you soon. Thanks for joining. See you later.